Welcome home, Love Army, and bienvenidos to Season 1, Episode 1 of the Love Army podcast with Barrett Pall. That's me, your big bro and brand new life coach. Holy moly, y'all. I have been waiting forever to say this to this amazing community, and what feels even more special is that so many of y'all have been encouraging me and asking me to do this for so long. If I'm being honest, like completely honest, I was just too scared to lean in. Anyone else holding themselves back because of fear? Yeah, I thought so. But that stops now, as this year, 2024, is all about fuck 'em and fuck fear. So let's go. The main focus of this podcast is going to be about sharing more love for ourselves, for each other, for the world as a whole, because quite frankly, we could all use a little bit more love, don't you think? We are going to dive into all different topics, meet incredible people, and maybe, just maybe, discover more about ourselves than we already know. So buckle up, get comfy, put on some soft clothes, grab a blankie, a snack, some water, and relax. Big focus of this podcast is love, but for this season especially, it's going to be how we reclaim all different types of things. Most importantly, the things we need to reclaim for ourselves, about ourselves, so we can love ourselves a little more, but more importantly, have a deeper level of self-compassion, because that is what you deserve. As the famous RuPaul says, honey, if you don't love yourself, how is anyone else going to love you? Can I get an amen? Well, amen to that, Ru. Examples of some of the things we need to think about reclaiming are our sexuality, our bodies, our relationships, our jobs, and our identities of who we want to be, without worrying about the pressure of who we have been told we are supposed to be by our families, our friends, and the world as a whole. Literally, the list is endless, which is part of why this feels so important to me, but also why this is so exciting. On today's very first episode, we are going to be safely and bravely discussing the important journey of reclaiming our bodies. On every episode, I'm going to share ways in which I have, and still am, also working on all of these things with y'all. I think that is so important that we all share as we continue to build our relationship together. And while we will be touching on very big subjects, I will be with you every step of the way, and I promise we will have fun together. One of the biggest trends that I consistently see in my work as a life coach is that people come to me because they don't know who they are anymore or who they want to become. And I think that the pandemic left a lot of us feeling very different than how we went into it. So one of the biggest things that I really want to encourage you to think about with some gentle but firm love is, who do you want to be? I want to encourage you to dream as we go through this together, and let yourself go to a place that you've maybe held yourself back from going, because it's kind of scary to go, I don't know who I am anymore. I feel like I've lost being a mom or a dad, or my job is who I am. And at the core of all of that, those are parts of who you are, but that's not who you only are. So we're going to get back to who we really are, or maybe find that out for the first time together. So I want to start by saying thank you for joining me on this journey, and thank you for being in our Love Army, where we fight for a better world with love at our core, because that is how we make the world a better place. That is how we change minds, open hearts, and really come together. I've also been told I need to encourage y'all to subscribe, follow, share, and leave a review to help make this baby grow. So please do all the things, and thank you in advance for doing just that. Truly, this is a team effort, and it means so much to have y'all support. Like, more than I can express, but I'm going to do my best to try consistently. Before we begin, I want to ask you a little question. Do you apologize for everything? Do you apologize for taking up space, for sharing your thoughts, for being yourself? If you've answered yes, then this podcast is for you and dedicated to you. While I hope we have many straight cisgender men join us, because ultimately, I do believe we do better working together. This podcast is dedicated to my gals, my gays, and theys. All of us who have been taught we are supposed to apologize for who we are. We are done saying we are sorry when we have done nothing wrong, especially if we have not hurt ourselves or anyone else. In case it isn't clear, you're going to be getting some honest love from me. I think a lot of people phrase this idea as tough love, but love doesn't need to be tough. Love should be gentle and kind and compassionate and empathetic and strong, but it doesn't need to be tough. Now, before we get to today's very first episode, oh my God, I'm so excited. I just have to say it one more time. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for wanting to connect deeper with me, yourself, and this incredible love army. So, on that note, our very first session together starts now. We are always going to start by taking a deep, big, full belly breath to help us really come into our bodies and out of our minds, which, if you are anything like me, is constantly overthinking. So, let's release whatever stress and anxiety we were holding on to and take that breath together right now. Okay, big breath in. Hold for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Did you really take the breath? If you didn't, please take the breath. You deserve to slow down and mindfully feel the awesomeness that is your home, your body. You deserve to have a moment focused on your own well-being. So please, don't rush past yourself. Make yourself a priority. Gift yourself the time to focus on you. Us taking this breath is how we reclaim our time and really start to begin reclaiming our bodies. Okay, let's all take the breath again. One more time, everyone, please, and thank you. Big breath in and out. Okay, didn't that feel good? This is something I do with every single one of my clients as a way to connect back to the present moment where everything is probably, most likely, a little bit more okay than we tell ourselves. I mean, we are here and we have survived another day, so kudos to us. Now that we've taken our deep breath, I'm going to ask you what I ask every single one of my clients at the very beginning of every single session. And that is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is the absolute worst and 10 is the absolute best, how are you really doing today? Don't feel like it needs to be neat and pretty. If you're at a 4.23, then you're at a 4.23. Decimals are welcome. But if you're at a 7, you're at a 7. Again, there is no right or wrong number to be at. We just want you to really take a moment to sit and let yourself feel your feelings and check in with yourself and be honest about where you are at right now. My goal is that by the end of this episode, you're going to feel a little bit better. And that can simply just mean going from a 4.23 to a 4.7, or maybe to a 5.23. So, how are you actually doing today, my love? Because this is about community building, I have to be honest and tell you where I'm at also. And I would say I'm definitely feeling like an 8. I am very excited that I'm getting to release this finally, and an 8 feels right now. I can't get over how exciting this is. I'm having a full OTT moment. Do y'all know what OTT stands for? OTT stands for over the top. You know, when you get really excited, you can barely contain yourself and your tail won't stop wagging. I actually picked up this phrase from the show Doghouse UK on HBO, which is about an animal shelter in the countryside of the UK, and it's just magic. I cry, I laugh. It's one of my favorite feel-good shows at the moment, and I highly recommend it. One of the dogs was referred to as OTT, and it just felt right. So now my partner, I joke that we are OTT when one or both of us is feeling like a lot. I clearly have these moments often, and releasing this podcast to y'all is making me feel very OTT in the best possible way. Have you ever been told in some way you are OTT? Well, part of what we are reclaiming is being unapologetically ourselves, which may be OTT for some people, or just right for the right people. Something tells me that you're my kind of people, so let's be OTT together. We are going to dive into what we need to reclaim for ourselves. When do we reclaim these things? How do we reclaim these things? And possibly the most important thing is why we need to reclaim these things for ourselves. As your new life coach and big brother, I can give you the super short answer to that question, which is so we can take back control of our lives, because that is what you deserve to do. You deserve to be in the driver's seat of your life, not a passenger, and definitely not in the back seat. But the short answer doesn't really get to the meat of the topic. So let's journey a little farther, shall we? This is about getting you back to feeling like the amazing human you already are. Or maybe you already feel amazing. And if that is the case, then my goal is to help keep you in that mindset because you are amazing. And if you're sitting there going, no, I'm not, please stop that. We are done with this negative type of thinking that is not serving us anything. We know this is not good for us. It's not good for those around us to hear us say this. We are done with it right now. Okay, let's take another deep breath. What I'm about to ask you to do may feel weird, but all weird is usually something that is new and different, which in this case is a good thing. But I'm going to ask you to please repeat after me. I am done saying negative things about myself, and to others. We're going to do it one more time, as repetition is the key to success. So once again, please repeat after me. I am done saying negative things about myself, and to others. Did that feel weird? If it did, that is okay. What we say about ourselves also holds a tremendous amount of weight, so please be mindful with your language, because what you say becomes your reality and how others view us. No more self-deprecation, no more apologizing for taking up space or being OTT, if you catch my drift. This is about reclaiming our inner voice and our confidence for ourselves, which, if we're going to reclaim our bodies, has to happen first, because we all know that inner voice is the one that is the meanest to our bodies. The mean things we say to ourselves that we would never say to someone else come from somewhere. We learned them from someone. And the more we can identify who that voice really is, the more we can release them and those negative self-doubting thoughts. Moment of clarity. That is not your voice. It might be your mother's, your father's, your ex-husband's, your girlfriend's, or whoever, but it is not your voice. And to be frank, y'all, we have to let go of other people's shit and not carry that weight around with us. Like, this is a big one that I've been working on. I'm going to repeat that because it's important and we could all use the reminder, myself included. You are probably, right now, carrying around someone else's baggage for them, but have been gaslit into thinking it's your own baggage to carry, which often then manifests itself into that negative inner voice, which we think is us, but is actually that person whose baggage we have been carrying around. Question: what is something that you have been carrying around that is not yours to carry? We all have something, so please don't say it's nothing. As always, I would love to hear from y'all, so please leave a comment with what that is and release it as you write it down. No, wait. Better yet, leave the comment saying, I release, whatever the thing is, and let that be a part of the release. Okay, I think this is the perfect time to take another big, deep breath together. So let's all take a nice big breath in and release. You deserve more peace. We deserve more peace, period. You're doing great. Let's keep going. Before I go deeper into this, I want to give you this little knowledge nugget, and that is to use the expression, I am working on. This helps us release ourselves from a narrative that we often get stuck in. Expressions like I am always, I never, I have a hard time, those keep us stuck in those places where I am working on allows us room to grow. If you apply this, I have no doubt that it will help you create better, healthier habits and make you feel like you are giving yourself the credit you deserve. For me, on this episode, I am working on releasing the shame I have around my body. If you've been with me for a while, then what I'm about to say will not surprise you. But if you've happened to find your way to this little podcast before getting to really know me, then I want to offer just a little trigger warning. And that is to say that I am a survivor. This is not what this episode is all about, but it is an important detail in my story, especially when it comes to discussions around my body. I also just want to send a little more love to any other survivors out there, especially as we talk about reclaiming our bodies for ourselves and being unapologetic about feeling good in them. I know firsthand how hard this can be, and I want to offer some safe, brave space for us to talk about that, but also how to move beyond this at our own pace, on our own time, because healing is not a one-size-fits-all. So please be gentle and kind with yourself. It feels like a good time to take another deep breath together. So everyone, big breath in and release. Wonderful. Let's keep going. As I said, I am working on reclaiming my body, which also means I'm working on reclaiming my sexuality and my confidence in my own skin. And I hope by sharing some of my story, you feel more comfortable sharing some of yours. I think the most appropriate place to start is by talking about the pictures that I posted on my Instagram that coincide with the launch of this podcast. I'm in my underwear. And while this may not be a big deal to anyone else, especially in the era of OnlyFans and skin being everywhere, it is a really big deal to me because it's where my journey began, at least publicly, that is. It feels so silly saying this, but my first job after graduating NYU was underwear model. Lol. And it's where I began to really feel worse about my body. For me, those photos are a way to say, fuck it, this is my body. I will enjoy it how I want to. I will not feel badly about it. And if I want to display it, I can absolutely do this on my own terms. I shot these photos by myself in my office against a white wall with a self-timer. And if you ask me, without tooting my own horn, I think they came out pretty good. It was so nice to just have fun in front of a camera again and do so without worrying about anything. What was even nicer was to feel good in my own skin and not feel like I was being exploited for someone else or something else, but just for me to enjoy my body. These photos are a way to go back to the first time I was in front of a professional camera in my underwear at 19, which is also the same time I was first taken advantage of in the fashion industry. I say for the first because it was not the last. For me, this is a way to take back the narrative with all my dark secrets no longer holding me back. As many of you know, the BBC has done a deep investigation into what was my deepest, darkest secret. And now that this is out in the public, I feel like I can actually begin to heal in ways that felt impossible before. It's truly been the most wild journey, y'all, and I am so grateful to still be here. During my years as a model, I lost a lot of autonomy around my body. And when your looks become a commodity, you are intentionally groomed to feel badly about your looks so others can take advantage of them. It's so fucked up. Like whether or not you have or haven't been a model doesn't really matter. I know a lot of people can relate to this. I've just come to understand that because I am a man and existed in a career where my looks equated to currency, I'm given a very unique perspective that many men, especially cishet men, do not have. Being objectified fucking sucks. But what sucks even more is that we are supposed to apologize for when we feel confident enough to want to show ourselves off in ways that feel right for ourselves. Like, gosh forbid we quote unquote objectify ourselves. That's bad, but others are supposed to have the right to do that? Come on. The math ain't mathin', y'all. My years modeling were interesting, to say the least. I booked almost everything that required no shirt. I did everything from being a giant video that played behind Britney Spears during her Femme Fatale tour to the song Drop Dead Beautiful, to being a fairy in True Blood, and I was a Chippendales in the first Magic Mike. Hey! I remember being told very early on in my career that because I was shorter, I was going to need to be in insane shape. Well, needless to say, that fucked with my brain. And this is where I know so many women and other queer men can relate. So much emphasis has been put on our exteriors, and we are both encouraged to show off our bodies, but also shamed when we do. This is an intentional function of patriarchy that is done by design to uphold abusive and toxic men's dangerous ideas that they have the right to objectify everyone else, but we should not objectify ourselves or, the kicker, them. Because gosh forbid we do to them what they do to everyone else. At the height of my modeling career, when I was personally dealing with this, it was so confusing because it was from many of the same people that I was hearing these two conflicting messages. There was no winning, and when you feel that way, you end up getting lost. And that is why now, at almost 36, I can't believe I'm going to be 36. I'm grateful for it, but holy moly, I am making it a priority, a deep priority, to reclaim the things that were taken from me. This is also why, right now, I want to encourage you, no matter what age you are, to think about reclaiming your body and your ability, your right to feel sexy in your own skin for yourself. I know many of my girlies will get this. You're supposed to be sexy, but not too sexy. You're supposed to be confident, but not too confident. And gosh forbid you feel sexy enough within yourself to show that in some way. Well, now you've made the little men angry that stand no chance. And once they are angry, they will do everything in their teeny tiny pocket size amount of power to make you feel teeny tiny like them. While a lot of women will hear me talk about this and understand this, this is very much a similar lived experience that I have at the hands of cis men who just also happen to be gay. Men are men. I think this is why many queer men relate to many women. Our journeys are not the same, but we all deal with shitty men in some way. So many people, especially other queer men, made me feel really badly about my body, my sexuality, and what was some form of confidence in my own skin. I've been able to reckon with the fact that they did this so they could drain me of my confidence and make it easier to prey upon me. When your confidence is low, a lot of bad people seem to show up all of a sudden. You know what I mean? The fine line that so many women have been programmed to walk within patriarchy is a line I have found myself straddling for most of my life in some ways as well. I want to make it abundantly clear that I, by no means, am saying my experience in this life is the same as any woman's. But what I am saying is that I have been put through many different forms of objectification, like so many women. And if my journey has been anything like y'all's, then fuck it. Fuck that shit. Fuck those people. No more feeling bad about feeling good in our skin. Vulnerability is going to be a very, very, very big and important part of this podcast, as it is already a huge core value within our Love Army. So it's time to lean in even more. As we continue to talk about reclaiming our bodies, we have to bring up shame. And just so that we are on the exact same page when it comes to shame, I'm going to read you the definition of shame. And that is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. Whew. Even just reading it right now makes me feel some kind of way, which means I think we're all in need of another deep breath, okay? Everyone, a nice big breath in, and blow it out. Now, I want to ask you a question before we go farther. Who benefits the most when we continuously carry shame around our bodies? I can promise you it is not us, but in fact, the people who want to abuse, exploit, or control our bodies in some way. The people who explicitly or implicitly want us to carry around shame have yet to at least start the process to accept or change their own bodies out of a deep act of love and acceptance rather than shame. This could be anyone: a family member, a lover, an ex, an actual predator, your culture, the fashion industry, society as a whole, etc. When you do the mindful work to learn how to uniquely love your body, you only want to see others learn to love their bodies as well in whatever ways uniquely work for them. And going back to what we spoke about when it comes to healing at the beginning of this, which was that it is not a one size fits all. So what works for you might not work for me, and vice versa. No one has the right to say our healing is wrong, especially if we are not hurting ourselves or anyone else in our healing process. I often think about how so much of my own journey to learn how to love and accept my body comes from being in close community with many women, queer people, and trans people, and how many cishet men have not learned to love their bodies, so they look to control everyone else's. As men, we are not taught how to love our bodies. If anything, patriarchy teaches us that showing the key components to healthy love, compassion, empathy, kindness, etc., makes you weak. So we could say that patriarchy is ultimately teaching boys and men not to love our bodies, which is why there is no real body positivity or body neutrality movement for men, the same way that there has been one for women. And I hope conversations like this help to change that, because it's very clear we are all in need of deep healing. This is just another example of how patriarchy hurts everyone, and ultimately why we all need to work on reclaiming our bodies. Personally, I have been on this journey for a very long time, as I'm sure many of you can relate. And it's one that I don't think enough men are honest about. So I hope to open some more hearts and minds as I continue to bare my soul with y'all. I know so many men are suffering silently, and the more we get men to be honest about this, I think we will see men, women, and non-binary people uniting in our healing, which is what we desperately need. I share all of that so that I can send this off to you as your big brother and a man that gets it and understands I still don't completely get it, but I want you to live your best life. Feel sexy in whatever way makes you feel sexy. And please, 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 do not feel the need to hide that or apologize for feeling it at all. Please remember, skin doesn't always equal sexy, and sexy doesn't always equal skin. Your version of sexy gets to be whatever feels right for you and to you. Your body and your sexiness are for you first and foremost. If others don't like seeing you feel yourself, that is not your problem, and 100% not your baggage to carry around. So go on with your bad self and be as OTT in your own unique way that you need, so you can connect back to parts of yourself that patriarchy and shitty humans wanted to exploit for their own fucked up quote unquote needs, but shamed you for enjoying. Sexiness does not come in one shape or form. It does not require a specific piece of clothing or skin, because at the core of what sexiness is confidence. So please remember that what we are working deeply towards as we love ourselves more is reclaiming our bodies and our sexuality and the sexiness that comes with that, but even more so, reclaiming the confidence to show up unapologetically in all our OTT forms, whenever, wherever, and however we want. Again, as long as we are not hurting ourselves or anyone else and are doing it with awareness and mindfulness. I don't know about you, but I think that deserves a big fucking deep breath to really give ourselves a moment to breathe in everything that we just went through together. So if you wouldn't mind, please take another big breath in. Hold it for 3, for 2, for 1. Release the breath. And just give yourself a moment to be kind and proud and accepting and, dare I say, in love with your body. And now I would love to gift you with our first mantra together, and that is going to be, I am working on loving and accepting my body. I would love for you to say this out loud with me. So together, let's say it. I am working on loving and accepting my body. The more we say these things, the more true they become. So why not lean in a little bit? I don't know about y'all, but saying something like this feels so much better than saying something like, I hate my body, which we are all guilty of saying at some point in our lives. Okay, let's keep going. One of my biggest goals for this year is saying fuck 'em as I started the podcast this way. And I'm saying it again so you can lean in on this with me. And what I mean by this is we are done wasting time, energy, money, and other precious resources on trying to get other people to like us, especially when we do not like the people who we are trying to win over. I mean, how many times have we tried to change our bodies or actually changed our bodies in some way so that other people will like us better? This is now where we connect being people pleasers with reclaiming our bodies. And I bet many of you have been a people pleaser for far too long, and it has not served us well. So right now, in this moment, when I hope you are feeling pumped up and OTT, we promise ourselves to continue working on no longer being people pleasers, knowing we have tried it already for far too long and it has not gotten us where we really want to be. Let me repeat that. You have already tried this out. You know it doesn't work. Stop doing it to yourself. And I say this as a reminder for myself as well. My second biggest goal for 2024 is getting shit done. So here we are, finally launching this podcast. I'm so excited and so grateful. And I hope you have enjoyed the vibe so far because we are just getting started. And last but not least, my third biggest goal for this year, which I feel like is important to share with you all because of the topic at hand, is all about reclaiming my body and my ability to feel sexy and human. I say human because I think majority of us want to feel sexy and confident and good for ourselves. And yeah, maybe someone else that we consensually want to feel that way with. There is no shame in that. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being unapologetically yourselves, whether that is OTT or some other form of it. Okay, let's take another deep breath because, I'm like all OTT and I need to just calm myself down for a minute, but like in a good way. Breathe in and out. Damn, it feels good every time. As we come to close out our very first episode of the Love Army podcast with Barrett Pall, me, I want to give you some homework if you would like. There's no pressure to do this, but I want to continue to help even after these episodes end. This is for you to work on. There's no rush. There's no race. Okay, here we go. What is something you feel unapologetically sexy and confident in? I want to encourage you to, at some point, put this outfit or articles of clothing or whatever it is on at home. Then put on some music that you feel sexy dancing to. Light some candles, create a vibe, and let yourself flow with yourself at home. I know not everyone lives alone or has the easy ability to find time to do something like this by themselves, but I'm going to encourage you to please try and find the time to do this without anyone else around so that there are no expectations from anyone else about what they may want or need while you are working on reclaiming your time while you reclaim your body. We do not need another person there, nor should we need another person to feel like we need an excuse to feel sexy and confident. This is about you feeling sexy and letting yourself go to a place that you may have been holding yourself back from going, or thinking it needed to be reserved for someone else. There is no right or wrong way to do this. This is just about you feeling yourself and working on reclaiming the wonderful thing that is your ultimate home, your temple, your body. If you really want to lean into the homework, then journal afterwards about how this felt. Was it easy? Was it hard? Did you feel silly? Did you feel sexy? Are silliness and sexiness exclusive from each other? Do they go together for you? Let yourself spend time with yourself. That is how we heal, truly, in like a mindful way. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. This is just an experiment for you to lean into giving less fucks and joining me on a journey to deeper self-love. And now we come to one of my favorite practices, which is something I also do with every single one of my clients at the end of every session, and that is to say 5 things that we are grateful for. So please really think about 5 things that you are grateful for. And remember that this is not about comparing what you have to someone else. This is just about saying, I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z, and letting ourselves have a moment of just being grateful. I'm always going to share my 5 with you. So here are my 5 for right now. My first one, this may not come as a surprise, but I'm so grateful to get to release this to the Love Army. I can't tell you how much this means to me. It's been a long journey, and this is the culmination of a lot of things that I really care about. But more than anything, this is getting to be a safe space for you, which is the thing I care about the most. Number 2, I'm grateful to feel my feelings. I'm feeling a lot right now, but I think that that is beautiful. Number 3, and this one is one that I say often, but I am so grateful for plants. They've brought a lot of joy to my life. Getting to love and nourish and learn how to take care of something by not overwatering it or underwatering it, to me is such a metaphor for life. I'm just obsessed with plants. Number 4 is that I am so grateful that I have gotten to announce that I am married. It just feels really nice to get to share my love with all of you, because it's been something that's been incredibly healing to me and very special and very safe and very kind. And I hope to inspire others to look for love and foster love in this respect. We'll talk about this on another episode. And number 5, my 5th grateful for the day right now is that you and me are here together, sharing this safe, brave space to talk about things that are sometimes kind of hard. I know not everyone has that. So being able to come to this platform and do this with you really means so much to me, because it's the gift that keeps on giving. I know that if you stick with me, you're going to feel a little bit lighter and hopefully lead into the homework, which will help create real behavioral changes for you. And that will then affect the people around you. And then before you know it, you've created a whole new life and you're like, how did I get here? And you got there because you did the hard work. You put the action into your life. You didn't just wish, you didn't just dream, you didn't just hope. I love those words. I hope you have all of those words. But here's the thing. Wishing only makes wishes. Dreaming only makes dreams. And hoping only makes hope. And while those things are important, we have to put the action into actually getting the things that we want. And now I get to do what we did at the very beginning of the episode, and that is ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing today? I hope that our time together has left you feeling inspired and empowered and feeling a little bit lighter than how you came in. And I want to end on this very special note by reminding you that you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's only one person in the whole world like you, and people can like you just because you're you. I'm sending each and every one of you so much love. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you for episode 2. Over and out. Much love as always. Bye, y'all.